What's up, everybody? As you know, these are always very impromptu because we both travel all the time.
Non-stop.
So, but I have a very, very special guest, Miss Tilly McReese here, and we were just talking, and I was getting her origin story, and I realized that this would be actually perfect for a podcast because everyone would love to hear how you got started.
Yeah.
You're into a lot of the same stuff I am too.
I am. Yeah, big time.
Stay in the middle 3 lanes.
We both find it hard to sit still, I think. So we just develop interests left and right. Like fully immerse ourselves in them.
Yeah.
So
if you had to give a short description of who is Tilly McReese, how would you categorize yourself?
a drama queen in a positive sense, not in a negative sense. Love acting. I'm always acting, even when I'm not on the stage. I'm just a ham. And diverse, versatile.
Yes.
Yeah, I like to do it all.
With that. Get bored if you do the same thing all the time.
Yeah, I like a challenge. It always makes me laugh when people ask, "Are you a dom or a sub?" I'm like, I'm an actress. I do it all.
Like I find these unnecessary
Stay in the middle
categories.
Yeah.
So I met Tilly at a Heroine Universe shoot, and we actually are just going to the airport after a Heroine Universe shoot.
That's right. Yeah.
So
it's become a tradition at this point.
Yeah. But I remember how impressed I was with Tilly's acting ability.
Oh.
And her ability to ad-lib, and I was like, I need to step my game up.
Yeah, right. She's just buttering
Stay in the middle 3 lanes.
So, how did you get started in fetish and adult acting?
I was working as a leasing consultant at the time, which I hated. But I had just got my green card. This was in 2012. And I didn't want to use my degree, which was in languages. And I really just kind of like had this inkling that I would enjoy it. My husband and I, gosh, I hate this term so much, but my husband at the time and I were swingers. Mm-hmm. It kind of conjures up images of like gold chains and hairy chests and stuff, but we weren't polyamorous, which a lot of people think the terms are interchangeable and they're not. You know, but so we would kind of do it whenever we got a wild hair up our arse, you know, let's have a threesome, let's go check out if there's an orgy happening. And if we weren't attracted to anybody, we would just like make out with each other and then go home, like maybe stop and pick up some food on the way home, you know. It was not a big deal. So we were, not to sound conceited, but just as it happened, we were usually the youngest and the fittest, and probably generally the best looking in the room at any given time at one of those events. And so I was already kind of entertaining people, but not making money, but like it didn't bother me, you know, because it was kind of a cool feeling to know that people are like turned on and have a better night as a result of seeing us go at it with each other. So I just said to him one day, you know, I came home from work and it was another stressed out day, just like feeling underappreciated and just like dehumanized and, you know, just like exhausted from it all. And he said to me, and he loved, despite, you know, things didn't work out, but he really, really, truly loved me, never wanted to see me upset. And he said to me, what do you want to do? Because some days you've cried a
in
couple
1
of
mile,
times
keep left to merge onto I-95 north toward Washington.
You just like feel just gutted, just like empty. So that's not you. What do you want? You've got so many talents and education. So I said to him, I kind of like to try out porn, you know. and it was really funny because I remember his response was, okay. Would you not want to be like a stripper instead? Maybe. Yeah,
maybe just do some solo work.
Right, you want to be a stripper? And I said, no, I don't want to be in the same room as the people. I don't want to be ogled like in the same vicinity, you know. I just kind of want to be the fantasy girl, like everywhere but nowhere at the same time, you know. Cameras are on, great, and then I go home at the end. And he was like, okay, yeah, cool. So we looked up some agencies. I had heard some things from a friend who was with an agency about how they would forget specific details in terms of wardrobe to bring with her, or they might tell her about a shoot, 2 days before it was to happen.
Right.
And they had plenty of notice, they just weren't on their game. So I was kind of hesitant, and then she came over. In fact, I met her, and then she told me that stuff. And while she told me that, she also said something else. She
Use
said,
the left 2
"You
lanes
were
to keep
amazing
left
work
to
with."
merge onto
I should
I-95
preface
North
this by,
toward Washington.
my husband and I found a shoot on Craigslist.
Ah, yes, the first shoot was off of Craigslist.
Yes.
Keep
And
left.
he paid us
Then
pretty
merge
well. We
onto
had no
I-95
idea,
North.
what to command, but we
Yeah.
were like, 750.
Yeah, does that sound good? High fives?
Why not, right?
Merge onto I-95 North.
Like I said, this was not outside the ordinary for us already. It's not like we were uncomfortable, And he took pictures, and we did the shoot. And the photographer who was present that day, who was a different guy, he was like, "You got to do this more. When I told you to arch your back and point your toes and soften your hands and soften your expression, I didn't need to tell you twice or 3 times. You just
Yeah."
And he flicked through the photos in the back of the camera and showed me. So he put me in touch with Pepper Kester. He was shooting her 2 months later, and was like, "You want to come down and see her, and she might be able to provide you some guidance or tutelage or whatever." And I'm so glad that shoot changed the whole trajectory of my life. I feel like
That's awesome.
it was almost 4 hours away. It was like some small village outside Richmond, and I drove down there. It was my first long drive. I was terrified because it was winter and it was dark.
Yeah.
And yeah, she told me everything about agencies, which wasn't great. And then she said, "Come to LA, shoot with me. I will put you up. Shoot, I could keep you in my closet. You're so cute. I want you all to myself. You've got an accent, and you're a squirter, and you're like perfect. Oh my God, I want to mold you into this." And I was like, yeah, awesome, definitely.
Hang out in your closet.
But there was a cynic in me. I was ready for this to not happen at all, because you hear those things, right? And they don't always pan out.
Right.
Well, long story short, her and I ended up hanging out for the next 3 or 4 days. She was on tour.
Awesome.
She had something canceled. We hung out. We did another shoot, in fact, and that was my first high-paid shoot. And she was hilarious, because the fellow was like, "I don't think I've heard your name." And she was like, "You've never heard of Tilly McReese?" I was just invented a few days prior, mind you.
That's so
Right.
funny. She's like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, she was my hype girl. And when he asked how much I charged, she was like, she didn't skip a beat. She was signing her release, and she said, "Oh, Tilly's same as me." Because she knew that I would choke up. I'd be like,
Right.
"I don't know how much I charge." So, and that was just a girl photo shoot. I'm still good friends with the photographer.
In
this
1
day.
mile, keep left
So
onto
I kind of faked it
I-95
before I
North.
made it, without meaning to.
That's great.
Because Pepper did it for me.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Now keep doing it." She said, "I'm going to go home to LA tomorrow, but you've got to pretend you know your shit, but be in bed at 10 p.m. and get up 2 hours before the shoot.
Yeah.
With curlers in your hair. You can fake it, but also put in the work and be professional, so that they never guess,
Right.
that something's off." So
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. A week later, she called me and she said, "Lily Cade wants you out here to play her girlfriend in a feature-length film." It's
Hell yeah.
a lesbian movie. And I looked up Lily Cade. She was the lesbian star of The Valley, the San Fernando Valley. She was very well known. So I was like, yes and yes.
I will take that.
Yep. So that's how it started for me.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, all right. And to preface this, because we didn't state it, you came from Ireland.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
from Ireland.
Yeah, I'm the only Irish porn star, as it happens.
Yeah.
You can Google it. I'm sure
No,
there are
I
a lot
buy
of
it.
girls and stuff now, but I mean, to work with production houses and stuff. I came over on a J1. It's basically a working vacation visa. A lot of Irish students get it. It's very, very easy to
That's cool.
acquire. So it's like there's a mass exodus every year for every summer from Ireland, and they go to San Francisco and Boston and New York and whatnot. So
All the big cities.
yeah. So
Yeah.
my friend and I picked New York, and I met it was supposed to be like a 4-month stay or so, but it was open-ended. I didn't buy my ticket home, but that's how long the visa was for. And I met a fella, and
Use
we
the
started
left 2
dating,
lanes to keep left
and
onto
we ended up getting
I-95
married,
North.
which it was real.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were in love, but I got a green card as a result of that, and that was in 2009.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Yeah. So, gosh, it sounds weird to say, but that's already how many years ago? 12, 13 years ago?
2009, that's 13, 14 years ago.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I was so used to
It's
saying,
insane.
2 years. Oh, it's been 4 years. Oh, it's been 6 years. So it
it
sounds
hasn't been
weird to
long,
say.
and you're like, oh, it's in the realm
For
of
38
decades.
miles.
Yeah.
Continue straight.
So I came here at 23. Now you guys all know how old I am. No, 22 actually. So I've not yet spent an equal amount of time here as I have at home. But it's going to be weird. Whenever that day comes, I'll be like, wow, I've spent half my life in Ireland and half here.
Do you identify as Irish or American or both or unuseful?
Irish. Yeah, Irish. So
Irish.
I don't know if that answer will ever change, but like we're a little bit proprietary about being Irish in Ireland. You know, whenever people in America, and maybe this is bad of us, maybe it's not kind, but sometimes people in America, they'll be like, oh, I'm Irish because like their grandfather is or their grandma or whatever. And really you're not. You have to grow up with certain peculiarities that are unique to Ireland to really say that you're Irish, you know, like running up to the church to pull the bell, they do the Angelas when we were in school, and like certain ways that our parents are. Irish parents are very strict. I know I'm Irish. Yeah. So
that's cool.
And even that identity has changed a little bit for Irish people because we've become very European over time. You know, like we're having our dinner later in the evening, and like people are building decks now to like sit out and eat olives and stuff in Ireland, like they do on the continent, which makes me laugh because it's too rainy to really enjoy a deck in Ireland. But times have changed.
The 4 days a year that they can.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So when did you make the jump into Fetish and creating some of your own productions?
So from adult to film, the transition to Fetish was pretty seamless. It was Pepper who told me about a fellow who filmed himself being trampled, which is, for anybody who's uninitiated, walked on basically, and he wanted you to walk on him full weight. And then there was another fellow who shot tickling fetish, and I did those two in the same day. And typical reaction, you know, I was like, wow, wild. Like, I just got paid money to be tickled, right? You know, and there was nothing nefarious about it. It wasn't like an excuse to tickle, like, my pussy or anything. I mean, like, that was down there, but, like, it was just a general... After that, I did a little bit of cam work, and I didn't love being, like, tethered to my room, to be honest with you. But the experience was good. I had a fellow once say to me, not in so many words, but I interpreted it. He wanted me to cry. And I was just like, I'm not sure, but I think he wants me to cry. So like I tried it out, and I figured he'd think I was crazy. If it wasn't the fetish, but it was. Good. And I kept him in that chat room for 45 minutes, which is at a minute per dollar per minute is pretty good.
Yes.
You know? And then I suppose after that, I started working. I did a wrestling shoot. I did some bondage with different companies. Beauties and Bondage and Bondage Suite, who's out in Dallas.
I met Bondage Suite.
Yeah.
Super nice.
And I did some art. At the same time, I was doing glamour and art shoots because I had a model main profile. And I never switched. I never used different names for those. So it was funny because some of the art photographers didn't know I did adult. And then when they found out, they were like, I saw some pictures, like, or videos. Are you like aware of it? And I was like, yes, that's also
That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
Still me. Still me.
Nobody leaked them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. And so I was doing bondage, and I kind of considered myself, I was like, I'm a bondage star. And then the cool thing about the fetish industry is I went down to FetCon 2014, and I didn't love it. I wasn't really prepared for like the sensory overload.
Oh, yeah.
But while I was standing outside taking a breather and arguing on the phone with someone, my friend came up to me and was like, hey girl, she's an art model who also does fetish. And I love her. Her energy is so upbeat. She was like, come with me. You want to try wrestling fetish? It's really fun. And I was like, I've never wrestled before. I don't know anything about it. I didn't watch it growing up. And she was like, that's fine. We'll teach you. Come on. And she linked me and walked me with her to the hotel. She didn't like really give me a choice, which is exactly what I needed.
Who were you arguing with? Did you hang up with them?
My then husband.
Or did you keep arguing with them?
I was actually just had got off the phone with him before. And I was like, this is the embarrassing thing. I was crying frustrated tears, like annoyed tears, because I wasn't there to figure it out with him. You know how when you're trying to make a point and argue right, when you're on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that, I was also breaking out that week randomly.
Oh, great.
Like I had some
Adult.
aversion. So here I am at FetCon, where you're supposed to go and make a good impression and network, and I'm literally crying and have zits on my face. It was just the worst 4 days of my life. And like I said, she comes up and she's like, let's do a wrestling shoot, come on. And like,
Let's go.
took me with her. And it was the best. Again, I feel like that changed the trajectory of my life again.
Yeah.
Because I got there and I was really good at it randomly. She taught me how to do it, and boom, everyone was like, she's got it. She choked him. She knows how to do it.
Great.
So then I became a wrestling star.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really funny because I have wrestling fans who don't even know about my bondage work. Like, you really become, I don't want to say pigeonholed because that sounds negative, but
Yeah.
people associate you with certain fetishes, usually
Right.
their fetish. And so you can rebrand at any given time as much as you want in the
Yeah.
fetish world. You know,
I agree.
recreate yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you got into producing some of your own
I
fights
did.
and cat fights and
Yeah, that was in 2017. I thought that I would be doing bondage and balloon fetish.
balloon fetish.
Because I was like, it's kind of harmless if I'm ever found out by my family. My family actually knows already, but I was just thinking, you know, it's pretty harmless. So let me just do balloons. I remember, like, it wasn't selling very well. Mind you, I only had my store a month, so that's no indicator.
You're like, this is broken.
But as a model who makes good money, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I want to make good money right now, but
Yeah.
that's not how production works. So thank God I'm a month into shooting fucking balloons and people tied up and like popping balloons around them, which I thought would be a revolutionary new, combination of genres. And I'm a month into it, and this guy reaches out to me and says, hey, would you produce a cat fight with you and another model? And I was a bit reluctant at first because I'm like, oh, who's gonna film it? You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I reach out to her, and it's a roaring success. It was super successful. Me and Fiona Ryder
Ryder.
was her name, and after that I did one between her and Davina Winters, and then another one between me and Kyla Reagan Kennedy, and then
How did that one go?
oh, she won. Yeah,
She's good.
she's very good, but you know what, she's someone I don't mind losing to.
Yeah.
I'm not a proud fighter anyway. I just go in and have fun.
Yeah.
But she's very skilled, so I wasn't in the least surprised, and I put up a good fight, you know. But she took it in the end, and then she fought our friend Carmen Valentina.
Yes.
After that, so I was kind of on a roll. I think I produced 5 fights that year,
Huh?
and I was paying them as much as I got paid as a
Yeah.
cat fighter, which is a handsome amount, you know.
Yeah.
And then a winner's bonus on top of that. So I just kind of continued with that, and then I started shooting fantasy fights because like customs were rolling in, and Tilly Town was born as a result.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I almost feel more like a producer these days than a model and an actress. I'll always love acting. I love acting, and I'll be an actress until I can't anymore. But you also get to be creative once you start producing.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the angles and the editing and stuff, it's fun.
Yeah, and I think, Heroine Universe on set often looks to you and asks you, like, hey, would this shot look good? Like,
Yeah, he does actually.
yeah, he does.
Doesn't he? Yeah,
I noticed.
he does that, yeah. I have a weird insight into things, like, I just look at it as, and people can laugh and scorn me or mock me or whatever when they hear this, I don't care. But I look at what they do in Hollywood, like in
Yeah.
TV shows and movies. And when I say that, I'm not saying that we're producing the same grade of stuff. Like, I know that we're shooting smut.
Yeah, we are.
But at the same time, why not introduce some of those elements into the smut that you shoot? You know, the cutaway shots and the POVs and the, like, shake it up, make it cinematic, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that little cat fight video that me and you did sold really well for me with the extra cut-in shots that we put in it. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was like one of my top selling clips for
It
a while.
was.
I was super
I'm so
excited
happy
about
to
it.
hear that. And so
And still people will send those little thumbnails as examples for their customs. They're like, I want you to cat roll like this, and it's like that one, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Oh, that feels really good to hear.
Right?
Mine sold well too, and I don't know if you remember, but I had serious technical difficulties that day because Casey and I had the same camera. And he had taken my camera, or my foot, like the little attachment on the bottom of it.
Right.
He had on his, and I couldn't put my camera on the tripod. Do you remember?
I do.
I was using like duct tape and stuff to stick it
I
on
do
there.
remember that.
Yeah. And granted, you can put it on a nightstand and you can elevate it with books and stuff, which is what I did before I bought a tripod.
Yeah.
But the tripod's nice because it's totally adjustable. It's, you know. So that day was like a disaster, but at the same time it wasn't, because I had fantastic talent on hand and everything just kind of panned out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was, I thought it was very smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta kind of be like able to make quick decisions as a producer and be a problem solver, right? You have to be flexible.
Yes, I could not agree more, because something's going to come up, or a couple of things are going to come up that you have to just solve last minute.
Yeah, you gotta be quick on your feet. Yeah, which I used to not be, so it's cool to say like I was forced to acquire that skill because of this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I'll have when I'm gonna have a big shoot with someone, I'll have like backup outfits picked out in case like they don't have their outfit or they forget it.
Oh, that's smart. See, I need to start doing that. Hannah Perez, and here's a plug for her because I think she's awesome.
Oh, I agree.
She told me before, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So she had hired an assistant to work through her wardrobe with her and hang them up she had a big closet, it was a room basically, and hang them up exactly in specific locations.
Yep.
And on top of that, she had taken pictures of each item and then maybe outfits together.
Yep.
And she had put them on her website, like there was a tab for her clothing catalog. And that way, when people were ordering customs, they could pick the specific outfit.
Yep.
And she was able to then take it out and have it ready.
Hannah Perez was the second studio that I ever shot for.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like the first studio was Seductive Studios, and then Hannah Perez was the second studio that I ever shot for. And I watched her, the way she like ran everything, and I was like, holy balls.
It's
like
really impressive.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I eventually want to be there, and it's going to be a long time. But
but this is the goal, the aspiration. Her and Callie Logan were two of my big inspirations, you know, and they have lives outside of this. That's the cool thing. Both of them have long-time partners, you know, have husbands and have other stuff that they do, you know, flip houses and all kinds of stuff. So I thought, if they can do it, then I can.
Yeah.
And I still held off for so long. I remember being like, well, I'm going to save up and get a good camera. Well, I kept making excuses.
Right.
And then thank God it was a partner of mine at the time. It didn't work out, but he, you know, I got to hand it to him. He was the person who said to me, just do it. Just do it. What are you waiting for? I'll teach you how to edit. You can use my Premiere Pro. I have the whole suite. And just do it. And I did.
That's great.
Yeah.
She mentioned relatively early on, like, you might want to start cataloging your videos and, like, cataloging costumes. And so I actually had started an Excel document with all of my, like, video titles.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
and, like, who's in it, and, like, Google Drive link. Eventually I'll have clips for sale link, because people are always like, how many videos do you have of mixed wrestling that are competitive?
Okay, yeah.
And they want to buy all of them, and I want them to buy all
of them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really smart. And see, I haven't done that yet, but I can go onto clips for sale on my
that's
own
true.
site, and I can look up by genre my clips, you know. But that might not be foolproof either. They might miss some. I don't know. How you categorize them.
I guess I like doing the, like, straight from me, because then I get like 97% instead of like 60
of the clips
of the money.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh yeah, duh. Yeah, I should do that. Or you could even do like catalog, like clips of you with certain models.
Yes.
I get that too. I want to buy all the videos with such and such. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for all of your tips. Apparently we are all very inspired.
Yes. It was cool for you to meet her second. Like, I feel blessed because everybody that I met from this first shoot was someone who wanted to lend me advice, a helping hand. You hear stories of models who their first or second experience or third experience is with somebody who's a complete shithead, who is unprofessional and straight up sometimes, dangerous and puts them off it. But for me, it's been the opposite. I met like wonderful person after wonderful person after wonderful, So
yeah. So, where do you see yourself going? Let's say in the next 5 years or so. I want to start shooting more. Yeah.
So that I can stockpile. So that I can. My husband is from Turkey, and I would love to start spending 2 months at a time over there and just releasing clips while I'm gone. I'm basically in the process of buying back my time right now. I just hired somebody, Duels, he goes by on Twitter, to write my descriptions and upload clips.
That's great.
Previews. And for a long time I thought I would never admit that because it sounds like I don't care about my product, and I absolutely do. For me, I enjoy the description writing.
Yeah.
But it does take up time that I would like to dedicate to developing my Gumroad store more. So who knows? Maybe after I'm used to using him as my description writer and uploader, maybe I'll hire an editor.
Yeah.
And I already have one actually, but I only outsource to him on the odd occasion that I have a lot to get through, and he's amazing work.
Awesome.
So moving forward, I would like to eventually be at a point where I just do the shoots and correspond with the clients, custom clients, and then maybe still own the company, but when I'm like 50, have somebody else even shoot the videos for me, so I'm not even present at the shoots.
Yeah.
It'll be hard because it's my baby and I enjoy it, and I am a control freak, I have certain standards. But if I trained a camera person to meet those same standards, and if they already had the instincts, that's the hard part.
Right.
Is finding somebody with the instincts. And then I would like to invest in real estate, and my husband is starting a restaurant.
That's awesome.
Inshallah. Touch wood in the next few months. So that will also be another. So just diversifying,
One question to go back to your original intro into this. Are you still enjoying shooting the porn that you shoot? And are you gonna continue that? Is there still fun in your personal life, or how has shooting porn changed? Your initial,
Yeah, I actually don't shoot as much porn as I used to. When I first started off, I was doing hardcore girl, about 70% of my shoots, 75.
Yeah.
Along with glamour modeling, art modeling, and then fetish shoots started to phase in. And over time, it was like the porn went like this, and the fetish shoots went like that.
Yeah.
And I received a pretty nasty email one time, which is unusual for me. I don't really tend to get them, but it was from somebody who was like, I remember she said, she claimed to be a woman, who knows, but she said, so Tilly, amongst a plethora of other insults, she was like, I've noticed that you shoot more fetish than porn now. Is that because you're too good for porn? And I had to laugh because it never occurred to me that people might think that. I never made the shift in order to elevate myself, right?
Yeah.
I don't make that distinction at all. I just, honestly, for me, I started to be offered more, and I'm not going to turn down work.
Yeah.
And then the more I accepted, the more I was offered, because I just snowballed. And I'll be honest with you, fetish acting, it does give me much more of I get to flex my dramatic muscle a lot more with that than porn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even porn that involves a storyline, it's still not as obscure. Some of the fetishes we act are so obscure, dude.
I couldn't agree more.
They're so odd.
And you have to try to make this realistic.
You have to look like you're really into it, or you're terrified of what's going on, or humiliated, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And I love that every day is so different.
I completely agree.
You know, and am I happy that I've stepped away from hardcore porn in the interest of my relationship? I don't know. I don't know if I kept shooting it, would it have an effect on my intimacy with my partner?
Yeah.
Like, maybe I would have felt too tired for sex at the end of the day. Maybe I would have been like, not right now, baby. Would it have taken the shine off of sex? I don't know. I don't really know. Sometimes,
That's great.
Yeah, maybe it would have over time. I never got to find out because, like I said, this shift just occurred very naturally where I was doing more fetish.
Yeah.
Now, a hardcore girl shoot might happen every few months or so.
Yeah.
And then my husband might make a video here and there to throw up on my OnlyFans, which I really neglect.
Does he enjoy being?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah. He's really cute. Actually,
he likes being on camera.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's very money focused. You know, he's been that way his whole life. He makes me laugh. Like, he jokes that he's like, whatever, man. If there's money involved, like, count
let's
me
do
in,
it.
You know? He's not one of these people who's like, oh, I'm above that, or like, too proud. You know. So I just love that about him. But I have noticed that he wants to get things right, and it's cute because even when we shoot with Heroine Universe, if we're talking, he'd be like, baby, Casey's explaining something.
Oh,
you know? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And he'd be like, you know. And his POV filming is really, really good. Like, I don't know, I can't say, but I feel like if I was getting my dick sucked, I'd be
that would be really hard.
To not,
to, you know, maybe just totally veer off a few times.
Yeah. But he's great.
Especially at the ending where it's important.
Yeah. Our battery did cut out one time, actually, right when he came.
No.
So that sucked. But otherwise, he's
pun intended.
But no, he's great. He's kind of taken to it like a duck to water, which is funny because it wasn't his culture at all until now, you know. But he just like ran with it. So yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah. Thanks for taking the time on this drive to talk to all these lovely people. I feel like it's so nice to be able to have a long form discussion about.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what other people say because there's an inclination that we all have to think that other people have had the same experiences or have the same perspectives, and it's not the case at all.
Not at all.
So, yeah. No, it's been fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.